Good morning and welcome to this week's episode of Choir Leader in a Kayak. Here I am on the river. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a bit cold, but I'm out and about and it's a glorious, glorious day to share my thoughts with you. How have you been? I hope you had a great week. This week's episode is all about ritardando and fog. Ritardando, which often when we see it written in a piece of music is abbreviated as RIT, means gradually slowing down, and that's certainly what it feels like at the moment as we enter lockdown number 2 in England. It feels like everybody's kind of slowing down again, and slowing down in music is really beautiful and poignant, and often that moment in the piece of music where you feel the anticipation and then you take that moment of pause. And sometimes the RIT might be as the music comes to an end and it's slowing down and it finishes. Or sometimes it might be placed in the middle of a piece of music. So this week I was singing with my lovely duet partner, and we were distant, of course, and we were in a well-ventilated room, and we had a moment where we were singing in harmony, and then we got towards the end of the song and there was a RIT, and then the song had to start again, and we didn't have a live musician with us. We were actually practicing to a backing track, so of course there was no way of knowing in that backing track when the music was going to come in again. So it's that funny moment, isn't it, where you both know that something's slowing down and it's gradual, and then you've got to find a way of picking up the pace again. And how do you do that? Do you kind of go, it's down, or do you wait? What do you do? Certainly as a conductor of choirs, and I remember on my ABCD choral conducting course the lesson all about conducting RITs within a piece of music, where you have to pick up again and get the choir or the orchestra to come with you. And how are you going to do that? And it's incredibly, incredibly difficult. I still haven't mastered it, but practice makes perfect. So hopefully once choirs are back again, I'll choose lots and lots of music with RITs in so that I can practice my upbeat, my breath and my gesture and my facial expressions so people know that it's time to start again. There we are. That's my story of RIT. Why fog? It's been quite foggy, hasn't it, the last couple of days? I don't know wherever you are in the world if it's been foggy, but certainly here we've had some really foggy mornings, and I find fog quite mysterious, and the sound is muffled when it's foggy, and we don't really know when the fog's going to lift. And again, I kind of like that analogy that we don't know when things are going to pick up again, and we just have to sit it out and wait. When I used to work for airlines nearly 30 years ago now, I used to fly on 747s on jumbo jets, and were they equipped to land in very foggy November weather in Britain? Not really. So of course I had situations where I would have been on a flight for say 10 hours from the west coast of America back to Heathrow, and then in the last half an hour it would become very apparent that indeed Heathrow wasn't open, so we would be diverting to somewhere else, and that diversion might mean that we would sit on the ground for hours. It might mean that the passengers would have to stay overnight in Cardiff or somewhere that they had no intention of being, and it was very, very challenging. We would often have run out of food on board because we've done our 10-hour flight. Things are meant to be coming to an end. The toilets were always pretty smelly by that point, and you can imagine people just want to know when they're going to get either to their destination or home. So fog is a fascinating one. So when I worked on board, it was very stressful, and thankfully it only happened to me a couple of times, but it was very challenging. When I worked on the ground in fog delays, that was really challenging actually, because you were faced with people stuck in a terminal and very, very angry. And of course, the fog lifts, doesn't it? The fog's lifted from this morning. You can see it's perfectly clear around me, and yet aircraft would have been all over the place. And of course, human beings don't understand that it's not sometimes as clear as it first might seem. So there we are, that's me rambling on about fog and delays in music and how to get going again. So I'm going to leave you with that. Wish you a wonderful, wonderful week. I have to say, I'm absolutely exhausted today. I've found it really hard to get going this morning, but now I'm out and about. I'm really, really happy to be here. See you soon.